Well, for those of you that don't know, my site is called the Forth Creek Trail, and it runs from approximately the bridge over the Forth Creek behind the old workshop, behind the new resource centre, up to the road that leads into the falls, and to the northern boundary, which is private land, and it finishes where the walking trail meets the road into the falls. So it's a relatively small area. I chose it back in 1996, the project started, and I chose it because I used to walk there quite a bit, and I was taken with the number of people that use that particular part of the park, and that's still true. Some days it's like Rundle Street, working there. So that was the reason that I chose the area. I think probably at that time I was somewhat naive, because I thought that I would be able to restore the area, small as it is, something like it might have been previously. I was very naive, as it turns out, because I think it's many, many years since that area was anything remotely like pristine bush. Very much degraded. And as I think I've probably told this group on more than one occasion, my biggest problem is weeds. And I think I probably got just about every weed known to mankind in that area, or at least one specimen of anyway, one sample. Having said that, the couple of weeds which I have been able to get on top of, one is Salvation Jane, and when I started there were just huge swathes of Salvation Jane through the area. Now it's got to just individual plants that pop up from time to time, and of course I'll see them in the next month or so when they start to flower, but that's very, very manageable now, very manageable. The other plant or weed that I think I can claim some success in getting on top of is fennel. And again, there were huge areas of fennel along the creek line. And again, there's a few odd plants that come up, but it's pretty much very controllable now. Grasses and weeds like soursobs and those sorts of things, beyond redemption. So I really don't do any work there. And my efforts in terms of weed control are directed towards broom, which I have more than a fair share, bridal creeper, and there's a few spots that keep re-emerging. Oh, blackberry, of course. How can I forget blackberry? One of the problems I think that I have is, well, I have two problems, and there's really no easy answer to them. One is that the project area abuts private land, and there's rich infestations of blackberry, bridal creeper, etc. on the other side of the boundary.
Olives too.
And olives. Mm-hmm. So that remains a consistent source of infestation. The other one, of course, is the good old creek. And every year after winter, where the creek doesn't break its banks every year by any stretch of the imagination, but there's generally a decent enough flow to bring down a nice seed source from further upstream, and I wear the results of that. This most recent flood, which flooded areas which which haven't been flooded in my time there, 1996, has really brought down a lot of seed, and I've got weeds in areas that were pretty clean before. Mm-hmm. So that's an added workload. So the main work that's been done in the park, in the area, right from the word go, I suppose, has been basically weed control. We have planted quite a number of trees and shrubs and what have you, some of whom have died, Remember getting quite a stack of acacia retinoides from Ron Sars when he was here, planted them along the creek line. Probably count on, I suppose I might have put in 30 or 40. I reckon I could count on one hand those that had survived. They just died. And of course there's the ever-present problem of people, given that it is a heavily trafficked area. I was going to say little boys and girls, but I'm not sure it's always little boys and girls. But anyway, the human species anyway impacts from time to time, which is upsetting. But having said that, on the last count there were over 300, I think, plants that have been put in and are surviving. And it's like most project areas, I guess, I can see the results. I can see the changes. They may not necessarily be obvious to everybody else at this point in time, but we keep persisting, and we'll plant a few more in August, and we're gradually making a change. I omitted to mention quite early in the piece that an area just upstream from the bridge was planted by the Moriata Residents Association. We did a deal, and they wanted to plant an area, and I said yes, and that's they had a lot more pairs of hands than I have, and as a result that area is quite well covered, and it looks very good, and that was the area that I cleared of Salvation Jane, basically. So that's a good result, that little spot. It's only 100 yards or so, but it looks good.
When you say you have a lot of the public going through, do many of them stop and speak to you?
1 in 10, I suppose. Yeah, a lot of people say g'day.
Yeah, but they don't sort of come and ask you what you're doing.
No, very, very few.
They're all on a mission.
And some people say, "Oh, you're doing a good job there, mate."
Yeah. Of course. Do you weed around the plants
Yes,
as well?
yeah, I keep those clean, yeah.